Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we talk about the pretty, twisted side of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a new kinkster or have years of experience, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us on this journey as we talk about our personal experiences and use the knowledge we've gained over 28 years of being involved in both private and professional aspects of this lifestyle to help you explore every facet of kink.
Get set for an adventure. Not only will you learn and grow, but we promise loads of laughter, turning each episode into a fun party. So fasten your seatbelt and let's get this show started. Pink Kink runs off the generosity of our devoted patrons.
As a patron, you will become a member of our special Discord server, receive some adorable Pink Kink stickers, as well as have access to a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast. Patrons also get discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
In addition, our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get special audio and video episodes. And finally, patrons at our highest tier will be recognized as producers, both here on the podcast and on our website.
If you would like to become a patron, you can visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click the link at pinkkinkpodcast.com.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Brianna Lynn, Daddy J, Fabe, Embers, Blossom, William P, Claire, Lady Blooding, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Kat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Kilted Sir, Brian, May Cry Devil, Ruby Riot, Mistress Velma, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, AK Harley Chick, Violet Rain, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Lady Affliction,
Dr. Dave, Pumpkin Pie, Ms. Tourmaline, S'more, Hacksaw, Wee Mad Beastie, To Be Better For Me, 3 a.m. Thoughts, Forrest, BP Bryn, Crash Override, Iro, Kinky Bear, Sviper No Swiping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Frost, Sinful and Naughty, Coffee and Chaos, Noir, Haley's Comment, Mr. Pillsbury, Stitch, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Princess Sassy Pants, Lady and Lex, Chaos Monster, Casper, Hazel Page, Jessa Lady, DJ Harlow, Ophelia, Master A, and Drew.
All right, Dara, I feel like this particular episode, we sort of need to just delve straight into it because I feel there's going to be a lot of information.
But how are we going to do that? We never do that and just give regular old information.
No, but I can tell the story of how this all came about.
Oh, good. Story time.
And then that'll be a little bit.
I'm down.
So I was doing something really wild and crazy.
So Tuesday?
I was on social media.
Oh, what? Holy shit. You
right?
Social media? No.
I know. And I was just perusing and I came across the Woodshed in Orlando's Instagram account where they were talking about what was going to be happening that weekend. And so I was like, oh, cool. Let's see what's happening. And I discovered they were offering a class in cybersecurity and kink.
Which is really different.
Well, it's something I've been thinking about doing because so many people are doing online dynamics. And of course, with all the pictures going back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And then even what we've talked about, which is that whole Pornhub thing not letting us porn.
Which pisses me the fuck off. And it's not just Pornhub anymore. It's like a whole shit ton of them I discovered this week. And I was so pissed because I couldn't porn.
Oh, that is sad.
I was pissed.
A pornless Dara is not a happy Dara.
Because there's nothing for me without the porn. I don't read it.
I do.
I know. You're fine. This does not affect you.
Good. No, this is not Rara's world. So I can't.
No, I'm fucking pissed.
I know. I'm sorry. So I reached out and I said, hi. So could I find out who is teaching this class? Because I'd really like to talk to them and have them come onto the podcast. And they were so cool.
Wait a minute. You networked?
I networked.
Holy shit.
My superpower. And it worked. And I'm so excited then to bring in our special guest today. So let me introduce them. Twincident is an actual cybersecurity engineer currently pursuing their master's degree in cybersecurity and information assurance.
That's so unbelievably badass.
But they're also a fucking kinkster and have been in the BDSM lifestyle for over a decade. They volunteer with their local dungeon, the Woodshed, as well as run the local munch. So they know what the fuck they're talking about.
Thank God, because we sure don't.
No. I was telling them in the pre-recording session, I said the closest I come to it is having a child who's getting their degree in cybersecurity. And I don't think that's sufficient enough for me to talk about it.
I don't think we want to bring your child on as the guest either.
She wouldn't do it.
No.
As much as she knows I'm kinky,
she
is an adult. She's over 18. She still wouldn't do this.
But here's the thing. She also doesn't realize that she is kinky.
No. And someday we're going to laugh.
She is aggressively against being kinky.
And she is such a dominant.
Oh, unbelievable.
I know, she's my child.
She doms rah-rah.
Yeah. Well, it's what kids do.
Yeah. So hi.
So welcome, Twincident.
Hello. I am so happy to be here. And when I got the message from Serving Wench at the Woodshed asking me to join you, I was so fucking delighted. I was like, heck yeah, I will do that. Because I'm just very excited to get education out there. And your podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
So did you listen to the podcast before Rara contacted you? Or was it just like oh my God, I have to hurry up and listen to it?
It was kind of the second, because I listen to a lot of like cybersecurity podcasts. I don't listen to much in the kink world, but I thought that was like awesome podcast that you have, and you have a lot of episodes, and I started listening to it. You sound great. I was so excited. I love your vibe.
I'm stuck on the fact there's cybersecurity podcasts.
There's podcasts for literally everything.
I guess.
I'm pretty sure there's podcasts on how to grow snails or something.
There's probably podcasts on how to grow podcasts.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes. The podcast inception.
I know. Well, there's so many topics within cybersecurity that we could talk about that we've kind of narrowed ourselves down for at least this episode to 2.
We did?
We did.
Okay, you did.
Right. Well, it's this way, not this way.
Nobody who is listening to this has any idea who the fuck you just pointed to.
It's okay. That's part of the fun. But hopefully you guys listening will enjoy this so much, and we'll ask Twincident to come back on and talk about some other areas.
You mean we're going to have another Twincident?
Yeah.
Please tell me you have a twin and you guys used to get in trouble all the time, and that's where this name came from.
So I have twins. So I
that
got pregnant accidentally, and it was twins, and so it was a twincident.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh my God, that's a lot. But big surprise.
The only thing that would make that worse is if it was triplets.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Well, then it would just be triple threat, right?
Oh.
Because then your name.
Yeah, but who's being threatened?
You, because the triplets.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway.
So I feel like we should probably start with poor Dara here and her inability to porn.
Oh gosh, yes. The
laws near and dear to my heart.
And
my vajayjay, because this ain't doing anything for me right now.
No, I hear you. Yeah, so there are laws being passed across several states. Currently, as of last month, there were 8 states that are currently blocked on Pornhub from being able to view porn, which is very sad. We want to be able to access the porn.
It's an art form. I don't understand why you're blocking my art.
Yes. Yeah, but the states are passing laws where they're saying it's in the name of children. They want to protect children from seeing porn. And so they're adding an age requirement where you have to put proof of your age in the form of like a state ID or a government ID. And that is kind of an invasion of privacy. Also, there's issues with like not everybody has an ID, and like, do you want to associate your data with being, watching porn?
I certainly don't want them to know the kind of porn that I watched.
Right?
Hell no.
Well, and that just also concerns me because, like, how safe are their records that
Right?
that they have my information
It's
in.
probably some sort of third-party bullshit. And I honestly, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at heart. Well, yeah, I kind of am, because this one, I am telling you, it has nothing to do with kids, and it has everything to do with they just want to track what people are doing and get to the people who are watching anything gross, because apparently we live in a Christian nationalist government now.
Yeah, it seems to be coming from mostly very religious Christian conservatives here in Florida, where they just recently passed this law, which is going to go into effect July 1st this year. This law came from like these Catholic bishop organization pushing this as for the children. There was also a social media law here in Florida tied to this, where you have to be 14 to get a social media account, and there was some other things as well, but that's not the part I wanted to focus on. But they're making it it's basically an obscenity law. They are trying to make porn less available. And so what it does is it pushes the reputable porn companies away, like Pornhub, to say, well, we're not going to collect your data. We're not going to collect your ID like that. And instead, what's going to be left is the less reputable porn companies that don't care that there's laws that say that they have to get an ID or something. And so when people start searching for porn, unless they have a VPN, they're not going to be able to access like Pornhub. So they're going to keep going down the list on Google until they get to a website, and maybe they would have malware or something that, because they're like, okay, we don't care about the laws. So what else do they not care about? So there's some risks
I feel like
with this.
We need to just define VPN for those who might not know what it is.
Yes. A VPN is a service. It's a virtual private network. It creates a tunnel where your internet provider can't view your traffic. So when you connect to the internet and you're viewing websites, your internet provider knows what websites you're visiting. But when you connect to a VPN, you're creating this encrypted tunnel where they can't see your data. And you can also make it seem like you're in a different place. For example, right now, 3 states that you can't access Pornhub are Texas, North Carolina, and Virginia. So you don't want to set your VPN in one of those 3 states. You might put like, I'm in California, or I'm in Washington, or some other state that you are able to access your porn from. So when you set the location, then you can access it.
How have I lived without this shit?
Well, I've been debating doing the VPN because then I could get like Canadian television and British,
that's right.
and British
I
television.
Get British television.
That's how I learned about VPNs,
Okay,
not through porn, but
we
through,
totally need
through
it.
that.
How do you get one?
You can create an account and download it on your phone. NordVPN is really good.
Write that down.
Yes, NordVPN, Proton VPN. There's several good ones. Feel free to like Google for it and search, find something that
we're gonna need a list to put in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Because people are going to download this.
Yes, they want to get to their porn. They need to get their VPN. Yeah, it's also good to just use a VPN regardless of what your state laws currently are and what they might be in the future, just because gives you some privacy. Yeah, definitely. If you're in one of the states that blocks Pornhub, you're gonna need it.
Oh, goodness, poor Dara, we got to get you a VPN.
Absolutely.
Maybe
are they free?
Some are free. And there are some that are paid.
Is there any that you highly like? What would you use? Like, what's your favorite?
I use NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Dara is starting to twitch because she's pornless.
Right.
I need the noise.
Listen, as somebody who is older than the internet, I got my porn through started out as VHS tapes, and then we moved to DVDs.
I found DVDs once in the cabinet in the basement. They were like my dad's.
Oh, nothing as good as the one is when my son went into my room to watch a movie, and I totally forgot there was a DVD left.
Oh,
in there, and he comes out. He goes, "Mom, look what Dad left." I went, "Yes, yes, honey, that was Dad's."
Wow, Dad and I are gonna have a talk about this.
Yeah, it was Dad's. That's
No, well, I'm sorry, but Daddy J, as good as he is with making the noise, he doesn't make enough noise. I trained him, but apparently not well enough.
So it's just going to get worse, though, isn't it? More states are going to start to pass this.
Yes, I'm worried. Like we're gonna see it across the Bible Belt, like Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. Like that's just my prediction. Like there's gonna be definitely the Bible Belt, maybe other ones as well.
It's hopefully this is just cyclical, and we'll start voting different people in, and maybe undo some of this.
Yeah, that's
This
my
is why
hope.
this is my little PSA, guys. This is why local elections matter. Get out and vote. You want your porn? Get out and vote blue.
I mean, seriously, there's a whole song about it. The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. I don't know the rest of it, but it was really good at the time.
That's really all you need is just
That was it.
one
Just
line.
that line.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and also communicate with your representatives. Reach out to them. I know
Okay,
here
but
in
that doesn't matter because they do what they want anyway at this point.
public pressure does work. So just keep trying.
Yeah, they want to stay in office, and if enough people make it clear that we
Can
don't
you
like
imagine like 50,000 letters flooding Governor Sweatervest's office and
Going,
we're like,
"I want
give us
porn."
porn, asshole.
Well, the good news is he's out.
Thank
Soon.
fuck.
We have a very weird one-term limit,
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to endure 4 years of hell.
which is almost over, if I remember correctly. That's just a mess. Anyway, the other point that I know we talked a lot about too, and this one for me is particularly relevant, is, you know, as the internet has opened up the world for everybody, and we've gotten into this process of meeting people online and creating dynamics online and stuff, sharing of pictures and videos
Yes.
online has become a normal thing to do. But there's a fucking hell of a lot of risks involved in doing that.
Yeah, there's a shit ton. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're sharing pictures, there's concerns with privacy. So the main thing that we wanted to talk about today is revenge porn. That is when, for example, you've been in a relationship with someone and you've shared intimate pictures with them, and for example, the relationship ends, and then they share those images with other people, other parties on platforms you do not want the image shared. There is also the concern of when they share those pictures, they do something that's called doxing and sharing your information along with the pictures so people know who you are. Maybe like your Facebook account or identifying social media accounts. So
This is why I don't send pictures to literally anyone.
Yeah. I mean, this happened to a friend of mine with video, and their relationship ended badly. And of all things, to really tie this in, the video ended up on Pornhub. Their ex posted the video on Pornhub.
I was going to say, wasn't Pornhub's like main problem that they had too much of that?
At one point, I think there was a definite issue with only one person had consented. That was the person who uploaded the video, not necessarily even the people in it.
Yeah. So these are like your intimate pictures, and when you're in this situation where you're sharing the pictures, those are you're in like a happy relationship, or you've got your spicy kink partner. You want to share some beautiful pictures of yourself and of your body, and it's an intimate, private thing. And when they then go ahead and share it outside of that, that is such a violation of your consent and of your body. And it's a very hard thing to go through. I have some recommendations for, how to handle that. And I wanted to talk about that today.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
The first thing is like when you find out something has happened. So you'll probably feel like something is off, something is not right. You might get, for example, an influx of new friends on Facebook, or you find you're getting a lot of new followers. Maybe you're getting a lot of messages in your inbox, like you're getting DMs or messages on Facebook that you're not expecting from people you don't know. So trying to figure out where this is coming from, you have to do an online hygiene checkup, and you have to find out why this is happening. And so what you're going to do is something called OSINT, which is open source intelligence gathering. So you're going to go and Google yourself and search for yourself. You might need help with it, so I do recommend finding a friend or finding somebody that can help you through this, just because it's going to be an emotional roller coaster to go through, and it's easier, not do it alone.
Will you be my friend?
I'll be your friend.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. But you got to know what is out there before you can start cleaning it up. So you got to know if there is any information, if there are pictures, and if there's information out there. My friend Caitlin, she had a relationship that she was in. And she had shared some pictures with her boyfriend, and ended up that he had those pictures stored on his phone, but he didn't have a passcode or a PIN or anything to be able to get into the device. So the pictures were taken off of his phone by a friend and then shared online.
Oh no.
Oh God.
So it wasn't even
Yeah.
him who did it. It was one of his buddies.
Yes. And so if you're storing images offline, that offline access is only as secure as the device that is on. So even if you're like, it's not on the internet, even if it's just on a device, if you're not securing the device and making sure that nobody else can access it, somebody could steal those pictures from there. And also another thing with on devices, don't keep those pictures in your regular camera roll. Their phones nowadays have a secured picture folder where it does not get backed up to your camera roll, and it stays on the device, and you have to enter in a special PIN code to be able to access this special folder. So you might want to...
that keeps it off the cloud?
Yes. So you might want to put your special pictures into that locked folder that does not get backed up.
That was just discussed in our patron group not too long ago. Somebody was asking about that.
Yeah. So these are special pictures, and when you're starting to share the pictures, having conversations about what your expectations for the pictures is going to be important. Especially if down the line it becomes a case of revenge porn, having the conversations ahead of time. If you have to go and get a lawyer to deal with revenge porn, they're going to love that you had these conversations. So some of the things that you can talk about are like, what are your expectations with the pictures? How do you want the pictures stored? Do you want them stored on their phone or on a computer? Are they allowed to store it in the cloud? You can talk about are they allowed to show other people? So are they allowed to show their friends how good you look and how happy they are to be with you and how sexy they think you are? Are they allowed to send those pictures to anyone? Do you have expectations of when the relationship or the situation that you're currently in ends? Do you expect them to delete the pictures, or is there any point that you want them to delete the pictures? Like it could be after a year or something like that.
I love that. When we talk about negotiating a relationship or dynamics, this is not an area that I personally have ever thought about.
No, me neither.
To get into that level of detail. And yet it makes so much damn sense.
Yeah. Having these conversations is, we're in the kink lifestyle. Communication. And this is a great thing to talk
every episode.
Exactly. Yes. And for those that are into the more serious side of things where they do contracts, this stuff is great for contracts.
Oh, brilliant.
Shit. Yes.
So
ding, 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 light bulb moment.
Yes.
Add that to the worksheets.
Yeah. I actually think you've inspired me to create a specific negotiations worksheet around just
around
the cyber stuff, pictures and videos.
That's amazing.
Taking notes.
Look, you got her mojo going.
You got
fantastic.
One more thing to add to my to-do list.
Yes.
She loves it though. She's not complaining. Do you see
that's
her
not
face?
a complaint. That's like a whoo.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh my God, more things to do.
No, I love that you're going to create some sheets for that, because good information to share, and the more people that know that this is a thing that you can do, the better.
It's fucking genius.
Yeah.
I'll even be kind, and I'll put that in the freebie resources section, not necessarily in the where they have to pay for it, because I want to help people.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, continue.
I was
I got distracted.
one less thing for me to do if you make it free.
No, you're good. So that was the conversation bit, and then what to do with images to try to prevent the one day becoming revenge porn. Watermark your images, and you can watermark them with either like the platform that it was shared on. So if you're sharing it on FetLife, Discord, OnlyFans, Twitter, wherever you're sharing your pictures, that could be a thing that you watermark, and also put the person's name that you're sending the image to. So you can put their name or their handle, and that way, if it ever does get leaked, you can make it tiny, teeny tiny. But if it gets leaked, then you can go and look at the picture, and you know who that person was that leaked it, where it originated from, and then you know like what next steps you need to do after that, because it's like, okay, I know that this is the person that was the source of this. And if the picture got leaked from like an OnlyFans and you know who it was, you have the ability to like block them on that platform, and that also deletes images that they have of you. So another thing is with the images is removing the EXIF metadata, which is every time that you take a picture. So let's say you take a picture on your phone, it stores information about the GPS location, the time, the device that it was on. So if you've ever uploaded a picture to like Facebook, for example, and it says, "Oh, I see that you were at this really cool sushi restaurant." The reason Facebook knows that is because of the geolocation data that is in the picture's metadata. So when you uploaded it to Facebook, Facebook knows, oh, that's where you were at. We know this because we found the geolocation which matches this restaurant.
Yeah, I think so. I have a Samsung Galaxy, and I'm pretty sure that I got asked at one point, do I want to tag my pictures with location?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that would be the metadata part, and I went, no,
Yes.
I don't want you to do that. You
Right.
do not need to know where I took the picture.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the information that gets added to the pictures with the metadata. So there are websites that you can just drop the picture in, and it will remove all of that for you, and then you can move on. Also, with the watermark, there are websites that will watermark images for you. So you can watermark is basically just a writing on top of the image. You can make it teeny tiny small and hide it, or you can make it so that it's very obvious. A lot of photographers, when they're sharing images of their work, will have watermarks. So if you're wondering
Yeah.
what that is, it's that text across the picture.
Right. And as you said, the advantage to using that is in a worst case scenario, if they do get released, it makes it easier for you to track it back to who done it.
Right.
Now, just my mind is just thinking, it's like, there's a lot of pictures of my boobs out there. I feel like maybe
you should go check out that metadata.
Maybe I should. Well, not the metadata, because I already told it don't. As I said, that was an option where I said don't. You don't need to know where I am. But with the watermarking, I've seen pictures on FetLife with watermarks, so it's not that far out there. So, what are some other ways that people can protect themselves? I mean, obviously, we could tell people don't send pictures, don't send videos. But that's not the way we operate in this day and age. Like,
Nope.
people just do it. I know
Mhm.
for me, sometimes while I might have a picture that shows my face, if I'm sending it to somebody that I have not quite built up that level of trust, I crop it so my face is not shown. I mean, if you know my body, you know that's me, but you'd have to know me.
Well, yeah, my problem is
Yeah.
I have some very distinguishable tattoos.
I do too, but they're not around my boobs. Yours
Mine
is.
are.
Yeah, so hiding your face, that's a good way to, make yourself more incognito in the images. And what else? Being aware of what is in your background, things that if you have family pictures or something like that, you may want to angle the picture so that it's not showing in the background. Keep anything that would be like identifying. So if you've got any work IDs or work related items, not showing your work logos in the background of your pictures.
That's one I think people really forget about is the background. There was a big to-do on TikTok recently. I'm about to get gross here for just a second, folks. Somebody had posted a video that they took in their bathroom and didn't pay attention to the fact that the toilet hadn't been flushed.
Oh, no.
And the toilet seat was open. So, like, that was more of a gross factor. But, I mean, how many times do you see people take pictures in bathrooms or...
Especially men.
You're right. Or have they... Like, one of the things that I do is if I take a picture and I take it in a room that I know I happen to have family photos in, I go into an app called, I think it's called Facetune, and I blur out the pictures specifically. Like I'm very careful about that to make sure that nobody's behind. I mean, we could do the same thing with you with your tattoo. There's in that app, there's an easy way to erase your tattoos.
Well, there was an incident with a friend of mine actually last week where she posted a picture of her son's prom. And the students found her Facebook because shit like that happens. And from the house number, located her house. They figured it out. And then they also found the girlfriend. Yeah. And they were messaging her son's Instagram or something. They just found all of this information just from one picture posted. And these are friggin' 12-year-olds.
Yeah. That's using image, especially if the images is taken outside. There is so much information that is in a picture, and you can use that to find clues towards figuring out where somebody is. So having a number of the house and having maybe like where in the country they are, it can start to lead to narrowing down where they're at.
I think there's a guy on TikTok who plays that game. Like,
he does.
People send
him a picture and he will tell you where you are.
Right. Where the picture was taken, all of that.
Jose Monkey?
Yeah, I think that's what his
name is. Yes, he's great. I love his videos. Yeah, he's definitely an OSINT genius. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah, I laugh. This is why my daughter posts. She has social media accounts. But she posts very little. And most of the time when she posts pictures, they're up for maybe 24 hours and then they're gone.
Smart.
Yeah. I know people who will, like, they just have a standing rule. Anything that is up more than 6 months gets deleted. It's not going to stay around because it's not needed anymore.
Yeah. What about things like, I know companies are now kind of looking at your social media. And stuff like that. You know, if you've got, how far deep can they go? I mean, do you have to worry? They don't go on FetLife, right? I mean, or do they?
It depends on if they know, because most people on FetLife have, names that are not their own name.
Right.
If you're smart, anyway.
Yeah. So they will, depending on where you're working, they can do a background check light, or they can do a background check very, very in-depth detail. If you plan to work for example, like the FBI, their background checks will take a year. They're going to talk to everybody and find out, and they will probably find out if you have a FetLife. But depending on the employer, it might not be an issue. Like, there are people who are kinky and work in high-level jobs. It depends on the company. Yeah, just don't. I recommend not putting like your real life information on your FetLife. So don't include like your actual name, identifying information like that. And also on FetLife, you can set so that only your friends can see your actual location. The rest of the world will see that you're in Antarctica.
Yeah, it is amazing. We had a running joke for a while because my kids are obnoxious because it's what kids do. And when I would tell them how well the podcast was doing, they'd always be like, yeah, but have you been heard in Antarctica yet? And I'm like, well, with all the damn kinksters who live there,
right?
thinks one of them has listened.
And then it turned out that we actually had somebody listen in Antarctica. So we win.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So we could do this to her kids.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yes. That's fantastic. How cool.
Actually, it happened twice.
Yeah, we had connections.
Yeah. Very good. So another thing to consider is having strong account safety. So making sure that people can't access your accounts. So for example, when you don't want people to access your FretLife account and go read your messages. So make sure you have like strong passwords, and that is using uppercase, lowercase letters, having a long password, also using numbers and special characters.
And not using the same one over all your accounts.
Exactly. Yes. Don't
Wait,
don't
you're not supposed to do that?
No, you're not
Whoops.
supposed to. Most of us do, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah, definitely don't do that because there's a website called haveibeenpwned.com, and if you go and put your email address in there, it will show if you've been pwned or your email address has been involved in a breach before.
Okay, now hold up. I'm going to go ahead and just go with that is internet pop culture because it's supposed to be owned, but the P with the O conflict, yes.
Yeah, sorry. That's
I remember
I'm
that.
too old to know any of that.
I remember that from back in my World of Warcraft days.
Yes, pwned is owned, but yes. But yeah, so if you've been breached, your email address and password have been involved in a breach somewhere, and a lot of companies have been breached at this point. So you want to make sure that you change your passwords, and also if you have the same password at any other site as was in that breach, you definitely want to change that. But I also recommend getting a password manager. 1Password is good if you're looking for one. But then on the same note as, your passwords and keeping separate passwords, also keep separate email addresses for different segments of your life. So get a kinky email address for your kinky website. FetLife OnlyFans could have like their own email address and then have an email address for your personal life.
Hey, I'm already ahead of the game on that.
That much I do.
Yeah. And then you could also have another email address for your banking so that if you're getting an email to like your spicy email address or your personal email address, for example, and you accidentally click a link, it's not the right email address for your bank. You know that, your bank, for example, Bank of America sends you an email to your spicy email address. You know that's a fake email because it didn't go to your banking email. So it just kind of helps segment out to reduce your risks and exposures. And also use two-factor on all of your accounts. Well, as many as you can. I know that it is a process and becoming more cybersecurity, improving your cybersecurity hygiene is a process. But I would definitely start with your banks and your spicy websites with the two-factor.
But two-factor is such a pain in the
My God,
butt.
Google does two-factor. And
yeah.
every time I get a new device or I just logged in, I mean, I've got my tablet, my phone. I've got two tablets, a phone, and a laptop.
Yeah, you're nuts.
And every time I log into one, I get hit on the other one going, was that you? I'm like, yes, it was me.
Or when I try to log into the Pink Kink accounts on a new phone and you get the emails and it's like, what the fuck? And it can't get anything done. Also, can you go back for a second to what a password manager is or does?
Yeah, so a password manager is a service that stores your email and password combinations for websites. It also helps with filling in the email and password onto websites so you can have that autofill feature. It makes it so that you don't have to keep track of all of your passwords. You'll have one password to log into your password manager, and then you can generate random garbly text for your password. And you don't have to remember all of that, and case Q19 exclamation mark, it can just be like random text and you don't have to remember it. It will fill it in and it helps increase the level of security for your accounts. There's also some that will, if you import your login information from like Chrome or whatever browser you use, And then they will offer, like, do you want to go and start changing the passwords? And they will do automations to start doing the password changes to make more secure passwords for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I have something like
Well,
that
I
already.
know Google does that so that I don't necessarily, it saves my password so I don't have to remember.
Yeah, and I do on my phone, I do almost everything is the biometrics. So I don't have to password any of that. It's just my thumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Google Password Manager is not as strong as a like password manager service, because if somebody does get onto your device, they're able to get the passwords from your browser.
Right.
So it's more secure than having the same password for all of your accounts. But if somebody does get on your device, you do have a risk of they could get to the password manager saved in the browser.
I feel so called out every time they mention that. It's like I'm being scolded for doing that. But hey, you know what? I will say I'm at least smart enough that I changed the special character for every one of them. So if
Yeah.
I mess up, I just go through the different special characters.
I do the same thing. There's like a slew that I use.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I know it's going to be one of these.
It's a template. And then you go through the changes.
Well, and I
Yeah,
have my personal template and then the business template.
Yeah.
They're sitting there like, you guys are so dumb, please.
So you got your password, and then this one ends with an exclamation mark. That one ends with an @ symbol.
Yeah.
And then that one ends with a number symbol.
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
a friend who actually works in the FBI, and he was the first one who's like, you should be entering every password in ...
Mm.
Why?
Because it's just an extra level that they have to run through.
You know, I never
Mhm.
even thought about using a dot. I've just been going through the ones on the number keys.
Mhm.
Well, what's interesting is now some of the ones that I come across, the dot isn't sufficient for the character. It has to be, they go through, it has to be like the pound sign.
Oh, it
or
has to be the number key ones.
right, or the exclamation point, or the period,
So
or as I call it,
picky.
dot
Yeah.
isn't sufficient.
It's called an ellipsis.
Well, when you put three of them together, that is correct.
That's what you're saying. ... ellipsis.
I understand, but I'm not thinking of it as one character in ellipsis. I'm thinking it as doing something 3 times.
Mhm.
See, this is why she refers to me as her little sister, because I'm that annoying.
Yeah. It's what's interesting is that I find that people in the kink lifestyle are so comfortable and confident in nudity and sending nudes.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Not me.
And, well, what's interesting is I'm very comfortable with sending nudes as far as photos. Videos make me a lot more nervous for whatever reason. The photos themselves, I'm like, it's a naked body. I don't think twice about it. We've all got them.
Mhm.
But somehow the videos,
That's where you get squeamish.
that's where I get a little more nervous. Like, do I have videos of me having sex? Yes. But I want to delete them. Like, I don't want to risk them being
I
there.
feel like with a photo, there's some plausible deniability. No, that was photoshopped, blah, blah, blah. With a video, it's a lot more difficult to deny.
Yeah.
Well, that actually brings up a very good point, Darth. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I did that on purpose.
With some of the revenge porn, and we've seen it like with Taylor Swift of all things, where they combine a naked body picture of one person with the face of the other person, and technology makes it look really good these days.
Dude, yes. I've been playing around with some AI image generators recently, and I could probably do that.
Yeah, there was on Instagram, recently in April, there were ads for an application that would take your whatever person you wanted, take their photos from Instagram, and then turn them into nude photos. So you could have anybody's nude photos AI generated. And they were just
That's scary.
willy-nilly advertising that on Instagram. Like, no big deal.
Yeah, and their willy-nillys would be all out everywhere.
Yep.
That's scary. Did Instagram
Mhm.
stop it, or eventually?
Yeah, it seems to be gone, and I think that they realized that this wasn't a good thing to have on there, because that's a very that's an invasion of privacy. But
God, can you imagine people doing that to like minors?
oh no, that's
Holy
ugh.
crap. Like that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're 14. If you put, a picture out there, because we were talking earlier about the laws being passed, you have to be 14 in order to get an account. I mean, that is just effing terrifying.
Well, I mean, look, you've got teenagers in high school who are in a relationship with an age appropriate person. So, like, you got two seniors or two juniors, and they're sending photos back and forth because they're used to that. And then the kids get hit with being sex offenders.
So I've read up on that and asked a couple of cops about that, and the laws are changing. So they didn't used to get hit as having to be registered as sex offenders, but now it's actually changing. If you deliberately, so like the two teens sending it to each other, that's still not, I think, registered, but it has the possibility of it. But if you send it to somebody else and that person sends it to a group and then it becomes malicious,
well, that's the revenge
now they're
porn.
actually prosecuting.
I mean, we're back to the whole revenge porn thing.
Well, I mean, weren't you talking about somebody who it wasn't sent by the person who had the photos? It was taken off of their phone?
Yes.
Right. But again, if this is people in like high school, 14-year-olds are in high school. They do this shit. So yeah, that's starting to change and you can actually get arrested and press charges for that.
I mean, the whole thing with cybersecurity and stuff is that the laws seem to be a step behind what the technology can do.
Yeah, the laws regarding internet have been
slow.
Yes, very slow. And a lot of times legislators don't understand technologies. So them trying to govern it has been...
I mean, case in point, TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
Are you from China? No, I'm from Singapore. Are you a resident of China? No. Do you not? That one doesn't even understand geography.
Yeah,
let alone technology.
Yep. And they already had TikTok move their data center to Texas. So the data is in the United States already. So their whole argument about it's going to China, it's not. It's in Texas.
Yeah. And it's just it's the same thing that we were talking about with the you can't have porn. It's about control. It's not about helping anybody. It's not about protecting anybody. It's about control. I'm starting to really become an insane person with these theories. But I'm right, so whatever. Maybe I'm not the craziest since I'm actually right.
So if you had to kind of narrow this down to advise people who want to be able to send the pics and or the videos, like what would you tell them? Like, don't do it or do it, but...
No, I definitely want people to be sharing their pictures. This is part of them expressing their sexuality. They should not be ashamed of who they are, what they look like. I want them to enjoy their body and their pictures and their relationship with the people that they share those pictures with. But I do want them to have conversations about what they are expecting as far as these pictures go when they're in a relationship. And if they're sharing with people that are on the internet or maybe, for example, long distance relationships. There's a lot of people who are, for example, poly and have many partners across many geographies, use tools like the EXIF metadata remover, watermarking images, and take steps to make sure that you're keeping your account safe. So have strong passwords, use a password manager, and add two-factor to your important accounts and continue to evolve your strong security posture online. And then if something does happen, talk with a friend, get help with figuring out where these images are, and then work to get them removed. There are resources. So there's stopncii.org, which helps with taking down images from sites like Facebook, Instagram, things like that. You can use a DMCA request which is basically saying, I own the digital rights to this picture. It needs to be taken down. So you can do take down notices. Just get help when you do need it. So make sure you're talking to somebody and get the support that you need to go through this. You're not alone.
Unfortunately, they're not alone. Too many people have had this happen, and it's sad. But I thank you so much for talking to us about this. I'm so fascinated by all of this as somebody who does have pictures of her naked body up all over FetLife, and hopefully only on FetLife.
Well, I think, don't they have like anti-screenshot software?
I don't know. I've taken screenshots.
Huh.
So,
not of pictures. Well, I should say that I have, because I'll take screenshots of beautiful needle art that I want to copy, and I don't pay attention, but I'm coming at it from a good place. I have no intention of distributing this or attacking anybody. I'm like, oh my God, your needle art is gorgeous. I want to be able to recreate this.
Right. That's your inspo. Here's this beautiful scene that I would like to do, and I want to make beautiful art like you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had people send me screenshots because of exactly that same thing, where they're like, oh, did you see this picture? I bet you would love to do this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yes, I would. That's one of the reasons I teach in my FetLife basics class about the security with the pictures and the messages and everything else, because for a lot of people, they aren't comfortable. I mean, look at just us, where I'm able to show my face all over social media because my job lets me, and you have a different job and you have to be much more cautious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks.
But I think that's another thing people need to also think about is your job. What can you get away with and what would not be safe? I mean, sadly, we all have bills we have to fucking pay, which means you need to keep your job.
Right.
Well, look, unless you're like a professional dom and like that is your job, I think most jobs have to be relatively careful.
Well, I think I'd be okay, but
well, not exactly true.
Mm-hmm.
You lost out on a job because of one.
I did lose out on a job just because of doing Pink Kink podcast, but honestly, they sound like people I don't want to work for.
Seriously.
If they were that freaked out about it, so it wouldn't be the place for me. But anyway, if you guys are fascinated by this and like this, I have talked to Twincident about teaching the whole class for us through Pink Kink Institute. So we're going to get that scheduled, and you guys will get further in depth, more than just an hour, and a whole lot of different things to talk about. Plus, you'll have, during the class, you'll be able to ask questions.
Yep. Full on interaction.
And get your answers. So, because I truly feel that this is such an important thing. The amount of people I know who are involved in long distance dynamics. The internet's been great for that, but then it's also created this concern. And the number of people newbies who will be like, yeah, so I've been talking to this usually it's almost always a femme. I've been talking to this guy, this dominant, who says, as part of the dynamic, I'm going to have to send nudes. Is that normal?
Well, first of all, no. Don't do that. It's a trap.
Yeah. But yes, I want to do that. So again, thank you so much. I've learned something, and I'm going to make that photos, videos, negotiations checklist and get that up. So, and then I'll send you the link so you can also tell people that they can get it from there, and it'll be, I'll make it purdy.
And I'm probably pink, and I'm getting a VPN.
Yes.
So
that's my takeaway, because I want porn.
Yes, let's get there. Porn.
Porn. The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. I'm getting it back.
Woo!
Yes.
That's like a perfect ending right there. You singing that song. Yes. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to show support, there are several ways. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can support our affiliates or help spread the word about our kinky podcast to your friends.
Don't forget to rate and review Pink Kink on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pretty, stay safe,
and stay twisted.